It's okay to be spiritual, even if you're not religious, don't have any crystals to put under the moon, and don't have time to meditate.
Because that's when life gets fun, becomes fulfilling, and then you discover that it really is okay to be spiritual.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Views expressed are those of the hosts and guests' personal experiences. The information provided is not a substitute for professional advice, whether medical, legal, or otherwise.
Welcome back to another episode of It's Okay to be Spiritual. I'm Helen.
And I'm Lori.
And we're delighted to have you here with us.
We are. This week, we would like to share some of our synchronicities that we've been seeing and then answer a listener question.
Yeah, we love that we're getting questions and feedback. It's really exciting. Really encourages us, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, we love feedback. Keep sending it through. When you see us out, tell us what you've been listening to, what bits you like, what you'd like to see more of, if you like these little stories that we like to share. So I'll start.
Okay.
For my week. So I had a trip to the Gold Coast with my eldest daughter.
Oh my God. This episode's now going to be an hour long. You had so many on this weekend.
I have. That's it. It is right. So it was really big. But I think the key is when you go somewhere and you step out of your day-to-day, there's more opportunity for them to drop in, I think. Would you agree? Well, you're just not doing your day-to-day, you know, you're more open, you're kind of sitting around a pool, you can see things, you're shopping somewhere you haven't been before, so you're kind of looking around a little bit more.
Or maybe you're just calmer and more actually in the flow, less stressed. You know? Not that you're a really stressed person, but like you're just more...
Yeah, and the Gold Coast always does this for me. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's one of those ley lines.
Maybe.
That's a whole nother episode. So I went down the Gold Coast. My daughter, we booked a room, but I didn't book beachfront just from pricing wise. And I said to her, if you want a beachfront room, you need to manifest it.
Oh, nice.
So I got her on the manifesting journey and I said, set a sign that you'll know that when this sign shows up, we're getting the beachfront room. And so she normally isn't interested in this type of thing anyway. So she just goes, I don't know, carrots. Carrots was the sign we were getting the beachfront upgrade. So we get down there, we took a friend of hers, we're driving in the car, and about 15 minutes before we arrived, the girlfriend of hers says, oh, we should go get a bag of carrots. Completely like out of context, like was in a context of tanning. They thought if they ate more carrots, they would get more tanned, you know, like the silliest thing you've ever heard. But then I turned around and I said, there's your carrots. And we rock up. I go in. I still don't know what we get. She gives me a room number. And you know how I like the room numbers. So I get the room number and I go, oh, yeah, okay. Like didn't mean anything to me. And I'd been seeing a lot of 4s on the drive down and before we left. So I was expecting a 4 in the number. So I go out to the car and we're about to head down to the car park. And she runs out and says, oh, hang on, sorry, I gave you the wrong room number. And I said to her, yeah, I think you did. This doesn't mean anything to me.
Oh, now she's like, this woman's bonkers.
And so
what is she talking about?
She runs back in and comes out and gives me room 1404. And I said, thank you. That's more what I was expecting. There's my 4s that I've been seeing the whole drive down. And we get the beachfront upgrade, you know, smack bang, beachfront view over the pool. So the carrots worked. The number I could tell wasn't right. And then lo and behold, we were given the wrong key.
That's a great story.
It's good, isn't it?
That reminds me, remember we did, you did some cards on our podcast before we started and it had 144441.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure of that.
Yes, it was. It was exactly the mirroring back and front. So the 4s to me are always the angels. And I felt that trip was very grounding for me and just it's really important to still make time to spend with family and to do little things when you can, and that was a really nice experience for me and the girls that weekend. So I would anticipate 4s on that trip anyway, and then when they showed up that just reconfirmed that the angels were supporting us and they love being there with us and they love watching us. So the girls won lip balms at a radio competition on the Friday night. They were stoked. Some lip balm you get at Mecca, so we all got a lip balm each. Then the next day I went back and got 20 free teas from
What?
T2.
20?
Because I spent over $200. I'd forgotten all my herbal teas just in the rush to leave. And then the night before I'd thought, I need to go to Woolies and get some. But then the next day you could pick one of 4 gifts if you spent over $200. And so tea was a gift. And I just thought, thank you. It is a gift, right? Like that's a gift from the universe. And I just thought, thank you. That's amazing. Like I don't need to go to Woolies now. And then the final day when we were there, I'd bought something from a shop and they didn't take the security tag off. And so I went back the next day to get it taken off, but I was in a different shop prior and that shop buzzed as I went out. And I said, I haven't stolen. I just have this tag. And she said, let me see if I can take it off for you so you don't have to walk back through the rain to the other store, which I did.
Oh, nice.
And so I just felt I was being looked after by the universe in just the most beautiful way. And you can see those things and go, you spent $200, you got free tea, But to me, that's the magic. It is really simple things like that.
Well, do you know, I think it's so magical because to me, every time something simple like the tea dropping in at just the right moment just tells me how loved we are. Like every aspect of our life matters to spirit. It's not just the big stuff, spirit, help me get a better job. I'm suffering here. I hate it. Da, 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 da. What about spirit? I'd prefer a different tea.
Yeah.
Spirit's like, we care about that too.
Yeah. And I think it's so I'm on a bit of a manifesting journey at the moment. And I feel this is just showing me the power of asking. I didn't bring my herbal tea. I need to get some. And then that morning before I left, I just said, show me the magic. Like, I know you're here. I can see you in everything I'm doing. And there's so much more I can't go into. But I was seeing a lot of support from the universe. And then just little lip balms. And the girls were in love with that. And that just brightened the whole trip. And then the tea and the room upgrade. And then the woman in the shop helping me out so I didn't have to get wet. It all just compounded to this beautiful feeling inside. And that's the rush Perfect. I talk about when you get the signs and the synchronicities. It almost makes me want to cry. When that woman took the tag off, she said, just let me do it for you. I was almost in tears going, this is insane. I could not feel more loved and looked after by the universe right now.
Isn't that magical? And to give thanks for it as well, because that completes the conversation, right?
Yep.
The asking, they respond, we receive, and then we give thanks.
And sharing this story, I think is part of it, sharing the gratitude so you can start to see the little things that happen in your life and how they are actually beautiful blessings and magic, and you've just got to stop and pause when you get them.
So the one that I wanted to share is from a few years ago actually, but I don't know why it's been popping back into my head over and over and over this week. So, let's just share it. So I love when signs and synchronicities make you feel really loved, like that story. This one was really a reassurance. So I was studying with a group of people who were sort of 20 to 30 years older than me and had a strong Catholic background. And so I'm a bit of a random in the group, I guess, from that perspective, because I definitely do not have a strong Catholic background. And I do like to study with, when the time's right and the opportunities are right, with various, I'm not opposed to studying with a religious group, but I'm not part of a religious group, any of them. So anyway, I'm just coming in as sort of an open-minded person who's just keen to learn about, expand my understanding and awareness. And so at the time they were studying St. Hildegard. I always have trouble pronouncing her name. Anyhow, she was born in 1098. I don't even...
When?
Yeah, I don't even know if that's how you say it properly. And she was being female and being gifted with mystical talents. Talents isn't even the right word. Skills. She was ostracized because she was so different, and they basically ended up kind of putting her off in her own little area. I don't even know all the proper Catholic terms, but she was incredibly gifted, incredibly intelligent, and very connected. And and she ended up having a special sort of interest in healing women. Anyhow, so it came to the night in this study group where we were given the opportunity to sort of summarize what we'd taken from our learning in the group. So to set the scene, I'm the random, I'm 20 to 30 years younger than everyone else, I don't go to church with them every weekend, and it comes my turn and I really love reading these stories of women who were just so courageous in these times when it was so male dominated. So I give my summary with great enthusiasm, and I really am proud of what I've taken away from the time studying her. And everyone just looks at me.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, yeah, I really don't fit in, do I?
Oh, no. What did you do?
Just went quiet. Anyway, I felt really off-put by it because I really felt like I'd sort of found a connection to Hildegard's story and her essence. And anyhow, so the next day I'm driving down Harry Street, but anyway, down the street, and Spirit just gets me to glance in a way that I don't, up at a power line above an oval, like I'm meant to be driving straight ahead. Anyhow, and on that power line there's half a dozen doves, and they're all grey except for one, and it's white.
One white dove.
Yeah.
Aww.
And it just gave me such reassurance that I wasn't off the mark. I did have a connection. I am different in the group, but everything is okay.
Such an easy thing to miss, right? To see the doves, to know they were for you, and to get the connection between the doves and the one that stands out in the crowd, and then apply that to your life and what you were processing.
Because it was really on my mind. And honestly, Spirit must have made me look because I had to look like 90 degrees out the window, the side window of the car I'm meant to be driving, looking where I'm going.
And they do that often, right? You'll pull up at a set of lights and then you'll just look to your right and you'll see the house number, or you'll turn this way and someone will walk into a shop and they are a doppelganger for someone you were thinking about. There's little things that you don't realize are Spirit talking to you.
Actually, I do have one from this week that I had forgotten until right now.
Mm-hmm.
So remember we had the B2B van?
Oh, yeah.
A while back?
Are you going to talk about this too?
Yeah.
I've got a story about it.
So I get super excited about some ideas we've had for this podcast.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, I need a planner for next year, like one of those ones that has a month to a view. Yeah, I'm going to go down to Officeworks and get one of those planners.
Yeah.
So I go down to Officeworks and get the planner. And I walk out of Officeworks and there's the B2B van.
No.
Yep.
Our 1, 2, 3 man,
Yep.
A to B,
A to,
triple two.
A to B, yep, A to B.
Okay, and a day or two ago, my husband sent me a photo. He listens to this podcast. I'm sure, I don't know why. I'm sure he's sick of listening to me. But he saw that A to B van and sent me a photo of it. So now
cool.
He's getting it, but he's maybe just a messenger for me. So we're both getting it again in similar time zones.
Yeah, so watch this space. There's cool things coming next year.
Yes, next year is going to be amazing. But before we get there, we have a listener question.
Isn't it so great we've had questions and encouragement and just love? We've just had appreciation and love. It feels so good.
We have. And the most amazing thing in one of the hopes I had on this podcast was for people to realize that there's something bigger out there and to increase their awareness. And that's exactly what's happening. So a lot of people are coming up to me and asking, what do I do now I'm seeing all these numbers? What is going on? I'm getting a lot of numbers. I see them on the odometer. I see them on number plates, on phone numbers, the microwave.
Oh, they really have been listening to you.
You haven't had my trick where I set my microwave at a different time to my oven just to maximize.
I thought of you this morning when I set the time on my oven.
Set them different. It's fun. You'll always get a good angel number when they're out there for you.
Okay, can't you imagine Lori in her house right now going, there's a one over there, there's one over there, and there's one over there. That's a triple one. I'm in.
That's exactly what I do. But that is key, right? Get excited. Be grateful. This is an amazing thing that you didn't realize existed before you heard, you looked at it more. You heard the podcast. Someone mentioned it to you.
Mm.
You've just been opened up into the most exciting, amazing world you could ever step into. And you're in it. This is it.
So if we could wind back the clock and I asked you, Lori, now that I'm seeing all these numbers, what should I do? How would you have answered me?
So when I first started seeing them, I went crazy. Do you think? Can you see that?
I was wondering, was it going to be you or me that pointed that out?
Is that a plausible assumption that I went crazy?
Yes, it is.
I mean, it is, right? So, but I'm a very energetic being by nature, I think. So the energy was just pumping through me, but I did start to go crazy. So it was a lot. And I didn't know what to do, but I just had a feeling I had to go into the crystal shop in town. So I followed my intuition. Before I went in, it was bam, 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 bam. And I walked in and had an absolute mentee bee. I had a breakdown. A mental breakdown.
Oh.
I just fell apart on the floor of the crystal shop.
Really? On the floor?
Yeah. I sat on the steps at the back of the shop and just cried, not knowing what the hell was going on.
Oh, wow.
And because I didn't have anyone around me to ask, I didn't know anyone else that was going through it. We've spoken about my sad story. where. No one was there to catch me. But, I was listening to what my body was telling me and where I was going, and I just went, crystal shop, that's where I'm going. And never been in a crystal shop before, got hit with the energy like crazy, had a cry on the floor, picked up a selenite, took that home with me, and then bought myself a deck of cards and thought, what? I'm going to work this out.
Nice.
What did you do? What would you do, Helen?
That story just floored me so much that I can't remember what I did. I think it just made me want to know more. And I'm a reader, so I went straight to the books.
Yes, you are a reader.
Love reading. And actually it occurred to me this week that I got the PhD that I always wanted, but just not academically.
In reading spiritual books?
Yeah, in my study of A Course of Love. Yeah.
Yes.
It's like, oh my God, that's answered all my questions. But I didn't get there straight away, I reread the James Redfield books and the Dan Millman books, and then somewhere along the line Barbara Marcinac popped in, but all the while it was just helping me remember my divine connection. And that's what walking into the crystal shop did to you, except you kind of walked into a
very energetic space, not being energetically prepared.
Yeah, but it was such an intense remembering.
Yes, I hadn't thought about it like that.
Yeah, because all that memory is within us.
Yeah.
It's never actually lost. We just cloud it over.
Mm-hmm.
So when these numbers come in, that's why it's so exciting, because we feel somehow more us.
Yes.
We feel somehow at home with it all, but we can't explain it.
And I feel like your higher self is up there just dancing around, just so excited that you're seeing them and you're curious and you want to know what they mean and you're asking people. It's like a big party. Everyone's celebrating.
Yeah, well, they could be a little bit sassy. Yeah, told you I'd get you that park.
Yeah. And one of the things that set me a little crazy at the start, not crazy anymore, remember? Was that I just wanted to know, why were you sending me 128? Why am I seeing 129? Why are these, and these weren't just triple ones. I was becoming very aware of 412, 369, 531. It was very evident to me that it wasn't just the triples anymore. We were getting on a deeper level, and I just had to know, I wanted to know. But sometimes part of the journey is you just don't know because you don't need to know right now.
Mm. I think perhaps we've both learnt some patience on our journey.
I think so. I mean, look, let's not call it too soon.
Let's not ask our husbands either.
No, and they do unfold in time. So if you resonate with the numbers, or if you're seeing something else if numbers aren't working for you, you could get animals or songs or feathers. And
colours.
Colours, yes. Colours are great. Purple, really good for like third eye, wanting to know more. So if you're seeing a lot of purple, be guided by that. And how we know these things is just from reading, researching, Googling is absolutely fine. You'll find what resonates. Helen doesn't like to Google.
Yeah, did you see the look on my face?
She's a turn the page girl.
Actually, one of my girlfriends, I used to have this, well, I still do have this shelf in my house. And every time she would ask a question and pull out her phone to Google for an answer, she'd look at me, get up and go to the shelf and go, this is Helen's Google shelf.
Yeah.
Let's ask the Google shelf.
So get yourself a Google shelf. Walk into a secondhand bookshop or, Big W and just Kmart. Kmart has a lot of this stuff at the moment, actually. And just see what sparks your interest. Are you led down a symbology path? Are you led down a numerology path? Is it astrology that's taking your interest?
Yeah, because it doesn't really matter which one. I don't think it matters which one you choose, as long as it's of the light and of love. And there are many different paths, and ultimately they all lead back to the same thing, to our connection with Source. Don't put any pressure on yourself for finding your thing. Let it come, let it bubble up, let it be remembered. Because it was your thing. It's not like you're creating this thing. It is your thing.
And I found native animals were my thing because I worked as an environmental scientist for 10 years. So then I started recalling all my knowledge of where the animals live, what their traits were. So when they started popping into my life, and then I also bought a really beautiful set of Australian animal oracle cards.
That is a beautiful set. So beautiful I went and copied and got my own set.
And so within that set, the turtle always stands out to me because the sea turtle is divine timing. So when I see those turtles around, I know
for such a long time.
Yes, they live for forever, right? And everything that's meant for them finds them eventually, and they go through these circles of coming back to the same place, laying the eggs. The new cycle starts. They come back with the next season. It's like the symbology of the turtle is beautiful. So just get curious. And so now when I see turtles, I know it's about divine timing.
I think we better put the link to that deck.
Yes, let's do that
episode, because I can't remember the woman who created it, but it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And my son just came home with a stuffed turtle from his trip to Cairns on the reef.
Oh, nice.
And I'm also seeing a lot of 5-3s. So to me, I see that as 5-3 was my symbol for change I set with the universe. So 5 being change, 3 being divine support. So I feel like I'm on the cusp, we're on the cusp. I feel like you're in it now with me. So energetically we bounce off each other.
I hopped on for the ride.
There's a change coming. It feels like a very supportive divine change. So that's where you get to once you start seeing the numbers. You start getting this bigger picture.
But speaking of hopping on for the ride, find some friends. How much fun is it to share this? Gather up your girlfriends or your guy friends, your friends, and say, this has been happening for me. Has this ever happened for you? Let's share it. Let's do it together.
And go out for coffee.
But keep us in your loop too.
Oh, yeah. Tell us the table number at your coffee. Tell us the receipt that you paid for. Tell us the number plate that was out the front when you walked out of the coffee shop after your angel number catch-up.
Yeah, because it's so much fun. Yeah, and it's so much fun when it's shared.
Yes, so if you want to tell us your angel numbers and want some help decoding them, send us a message. We'll do our best. We'll tell you what we would do if we were getting those numbers.
And then, if it sparks your interest to go further, to delve deeper, don't feel obliged to go for a particular religion or go for a particular new age theory or just one author, or be curious. Look in lots of different places and discover it for yourself, because that's the most fun. That's the fun part, reveal it to yourself and realize that it's such a expansive, special relationship.
And if it does get very expansive and it feels like there's a lot going on, meditations are really good to just ground you back into the energy, and you can seek what one of those suits you. We currently have a free meditation on our website that you could download.
I love it. I'm very excited about that meditation.
Helen loves the meditation. So see your angel numbers, get curious, get grounding through meditations if you need to, if it gets overwhelming.
So while it does take some patience, it's pretty fun when you share it. So share this episode with a friend. Share what's going on with your friends. Share our podcast with your friends. We'd love that. And until the next one.
We'll catch you next time.
Bye for now.